Hey guys, this is your host Thomas Tyree here from On the Hot Podcast. Today, this will be the Combat Series episode number 111 for you guys today. And to kick off this week's Combat Series, I'll be discussing my updated boxing men's pound for pound list. So my list will start at number 1, going all the way down to number 10. In that respective order. So starting off at number 1, I have Alexander Usyk. I think Alexander Usyk is pound for pound deserving to be recognized as the best men's fighter on the planet Earth today. He's a 3-time undisputed champion, first ever 2-time undisputed champion, 2-time undisputed heavyweight champion in the 4-belt era in boxing. Number 2, I have Naoya Inoue. Naoya Inoue is currently the reigning defending undisputed junior featherweight champion. He's also recognized as being a 2-time undisputed champion in his boxing career. And number 3, I have Terrence Bud Crawford. Inactivity does hurt his case to make him higher on my men's pound for pound list, but overall a phenomenal fighter, future Hall of Famer. Number 4, I have Dmitry Bivol, currently the unified light heavyweight champion. At number 5, I have Canelo Alvarez. I think Canelo Alvarez is one of the greatest of all time, but his loss against Dmitry Bivol has to make me put him underneath him at number 5. Number 6, I'm going to go with Bam Rodriguez, the future of boxing. He's only 25, but his resume speaks for itself. Top-notch resume at the lower weight divisions. Number 7, I have Arthur Beterbiev, the former undisputed light heavyweight champion. Does have an impressive 95% knockout ratio. Number 8, I'm going to go with Shakur Stevenson. Number 9, I go with Dave Benavidez. And at number 10, I will go with Jerron Boots Ennis. Now, I think I have a really respective list, and I know people out there watching and listening will be questioning why I don't have their favorites. So let's go into a deeper dive of why I have these respective 10 fighters ranked at their respective positions on this men's pound for pound list. So let's go back down to number 1. That would be Alexander Usyk. Now, Alexander Usyk is 24-0. He does have 14 victories come away of knockout. He's a 3-time undisputed champion in his boxing career, like I just touched upon. He's the first ever 2-time undisputed heavyweight champion in the 4-belt era. Because remember, the WBO title was officially known as a sanctioned body and recognized as a legitimate world championship when the all-time greats of Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Lewis, and several other all-time Hall of Famers were undisputed heavyweight champions. That was during the 3-belt era. And to make this more impressive, Alexander Usyk has only fought 7 times at the heavyweight division and has already captured the undisputed heavyweight titles and twice in the 4-belt era, only fighting 7 times at this heavyweight division. And the run that he's went on since being at the top of this heavyweight division, he's defeated Tyson Fury twice, defeated Anthony Joshua twice, defeated Daniel Dubois twice. He's a natural-born cruiserweight that has moved up to the heavyweight division and has displayed his boxing skills, his boxing power with ease. And I think this legitimate run that he's on has to punch his ticket to be known as the number 1 fighter in boxing today. As great as there are of fighters, I think based off of what this guy has done, and being undisputed twice in a matter of 14 months at the heavyweight division, I gotta recognize him as the number 1 pound for pound great in the sport today. At number 2, I have Naoya Inoue. Naoya Inoue has 30 victories, 27 victories come away of knockout, 2-time undisputed champion in 2 different weight classes, and he has impressive knockout power. And Naoya Inoue is a very crafty fighter. He has the knockout power. He's a great counter puncher. Can fight different lateral movements. Has a really intelligent boxing IQ. He's already a 4-division world champion, and I like to call him the modern era of Manny Pacquiao in this generation of boxing today. How Naoya Inoue can go up and down weight classes and show that he's still a true warrior, the same fighter, and only gets powerful as he climbs up boxing divisions in the sport. So I think he could at least push to become a 6-division world champion by the time he retires. We'll see what happens with Naoya Inoue, but I think he is proven why he's a top 3 pound for pound fighter. At number 3, I put Terrence Crawford at number 3 because he is great. Don't get me wrong. He has an impressive record of 40 victories, 0 losses, 31 victories come away of knockout. He's also a 2-time undisputed champion, 2 different weight classes. Let's not forget the phenomenal run that Terrence Crawford had a few years ago at the welterweight division. Went undefeated, went undisputed, and knocked out every single welterweight that he fought at his time that he spent at the 147 division. And overall, Terrence Crawford is actually a 4-division world champion. starting his career as a lightweight at 135, going all the way to 154, and he's captured championship gold. He still is the WBA super welterweight champion, and he's trying to become a 5-division world champion, becoming a 3-time undisputed champion in 3 different weight classes, if he could somehow, some way defeat Canelo Alvarez at super middleweight. But inactivity is the reason why Terence Crawford is not higher on my pound-for-pound list. He's only been fighting once a year since 2021. So you do the math on it, that we're only seeing Crawford in there 4 times since basically the beginning of the decade. I need to see more consistency in order for you to get a top 2, top 1 spot. But we might have a controversial conversation if he is pound for pound number 1, if he can defeat Canelo Alvarez in September. Number 4, again, is Dimitri Bivol. Dimitri Bivol does have 24 victories, 1 loss to his boxing career, 12 victories come away of knockout. Currently the unified light heavyweight champion in the sport of boxing. And I give Dimitri Bivol all the credit in the world, because he did avenge his only loss in his boxing career when he fought Arthur Beterbiev in the rematch in February. I thought personally that Bivol won the first fight against Arthur Beterbiev, but then in a judge's standpoint, Bivol didn't close out the fight correctly in rounds 10, 11, and 12 in the championship rounds. Didn't finish off strongly. So I could see why they swung the decision in favor of Arthur Beterbiev. But then in the second fight, he decisively dominated Arthur Beterbiev. Yes, decisively dominated him. I scored that fight 8 rounds to 4 in favor of Dimitri Bivol. That was, well, I would say that was the best performance of his boxing career. But then you got to realize that 2022 Cinco de Mayo weekend performance that he had against Canelo Alvarez put his name on the map, because a lot of people didn't know who Dimitri Bivol was in the sport of boxing. Then it is now recognized as a former undisputed champion. Of course, lost the WBC title, well, vacated the WBC title due to politic reasons. That's why David Benavidez holds the title. But he's the only man in boxing to not knock out, but to defeat Canelo and Arthur Beterbiev in dominating fashion. That screams top 5 to me in a men's pound for pound list. And number 5, I'm going to go with Canelo Alvarez here. Again, Canelo is number 5 on my list. He has 63 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws to his illustrious boxing career, 39 victories come away of knockout. He's the first ever 2-time undisputed champion at the super middleweight division. And he has some impressive victories, don't get me wrong, defeating Triple G twice, Miguel Cotto, Amir Khan, Sergey, Jermell Charlo, and several others. But I cannot put Canelo Alvarez higher than number 5, only due to the fact that he lost against Dimitri Bivol. And that defeats the purpose of a men's pound-for-pound list. Why am I going to put you higher than a fighter that destroyed you in a championship caliber fight? I cannot do that. As great as Canelo Alvarez is, unless he somehow, some way defeats Dimitri Bivol in a rematch before he hangs it up, then we could have that conversation. But for now, he deserves to be lower than Dimitri Bivol on my pound-for-pound list. At number 6, I have Bam Rodriguez here for a reason, and here's why. He has 22 victories, 15 victories come away of knockout. He's the unified bantamweight champion. He's an incredible fighter. I know he's starting to get recognized as a popular star in the lower weight classes like Inoue Inoue is, but Bam Rodriguez is an American star for people that don't know who he is. He's an incredible fighter. At 25 years of age, he's already accomplished so much. He's a 2-division world champion, and he's daring to be great. He's going to continue to climb up the ranks, climb up divisions, and prove why he could be a pound-for-pound, number 1 pound-for-pound fighter one day when it's all said and done in the sport of boxing. And he's an incredible fighter, incredible work rate, has incredible knockout power, lands punches and flurries, great boxing IQ, and can land great counter punches as I sneeze. But as I get going, Bam Rodriguez at these lower weight classes has proven why he deserves to be in the conversation for being a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter. And I have him number 6 on my list. At number 7, I have Arthur Beterbiev. Arthur Beterbiev has 21 victories, 1 loss to his boxing career, 20 victories come away of knockout. He is the former heavyweight champion of this light heavyweight division. And he has 25. He has a knockout ratio of 25.24. That is an impressive knockout ratio for Arthur Beterbiev. And we'll see if he can avenge his only loss when the trilogy is officially announced between himself and Dmitry Bivol for the unified light heavyweight championships. At number 8, I have Shakur Stevenson. I think Shakur Stevenson is the real deal. He has 24 victories, 24-0, 11 victories come away of knockout, already a 3-division world champion, and he's an incredible fighter. I think this is the best defensive fighter that we've seen since Floyd Mayweather has graced the boxing ring. Shakur Stevenson is a sharp individual, great counterpuncher, has one of the best jabs in the business today, incredible offensive fighter. Say what you want, but Shakur Stevenson is one hell of a fighter, and we got to recognize him for being on my men's pound-for-pound list. At number 9, this is where it gets a little interesting because I do have a couple names that aren't really aligned with how the professionals or the boxing analysts have on their men's pound-for-pound list. At number 9, I have David Benavidez. David Benavidez is 30-0. He has 24 victories come away of knockout. Currently the WBC light heavyweight champion. He has big wins over Caleb Plant, Demetrius Andre, Alexander Govskick, David Morrell. He's also a 2-division world champion. We got to recognize the greatness that David Benavidez, the Mexican monster, has displayed in the sport of boxing. And he's daring himself to be great. You cannot say that he hasn't defeated any bigger name because he's been chasing Canelo for years. He wanted the winner of Dmitry Bivol and Arthur Beterbiev, but unfortunately didn't get that. And that's how he became the WBC champion, because he was actually next in line. He was the mandatory to fight for that title, but Dmitry Bivol wanted to grace Arthur Beterbiev with a rematch. Therefore, he was willing to vacate the WBC title in order for that trilogy to be made whenever it gets made. But you can't fault David Benavidez for not beating a pound-for-pound superstar just yet, because he has not been gifted the opportunity to even share the ring with a guy like Canelo Alvarez, Dmitry Bivol, or Arthur Beterbiev just yet in his respective weight classes that he's been a part of. And at number 10, I'm going to go with Jaron Ennis. Jaron Ennis has 34 victories, 30 victories come away of knockout. He's a tremendous fighter. They're currently the unified welterweight champion, holding the IBF title, holding the WBA title, holding the Ring Magazine title. You guys got to realize, Jaron Ennis has been at this welterweight division for quite some time now. And he's always wanted the big fights at this division. When guys like Earl Spence was the unified welterweight champion once upon a time. When Terrence Crawford was holding that WBO welterweight title once upon a time. He never got to share the ring with either one of those respective fighters, but he is showing everything why he should be a pound-for-pound great. He just doesn't have the big names just yet, but he's defeating world champions on his way to proving to be great, daring himself to be great. He is a tremendous fighter. He has a good boxing IQ, great counter puncher, effective knockout puncher. He is everything that you want in a boxer. If you were to build a boxer from the ground up in this generation, I would love to build up and mold a fighter to be just like Jaron Ennis. That's how much potential I think Jaron Ennis has in the sport of boxing. But that is my updated men's pound-for-pound boxing list.